Just not wanting to work. I think. Oh, we're connected. Look at that. My, oh my, oh my. I think it's working. I think we're live. I assume I'm live. Streaming, we're streaming. We're doing something. Let's get some of this stuff out of here. Getting rid of this. So, what are we doing today? What am I doing today? I am going to be playing with some steganography. Good, so far so good. Alright, cool. It worked. Alright, so let's get back up to my Stego app here. So this is my Stegosaurus steganography, whatever. You can use it to embed data in images, or you can also use it to check images and see if they have anything embedded in them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have a little bit of fun here, and I'm going to go back to this thread here. I'm sure we all, or you all probably recognize this thread. Obviously this is from Saturday, October 28th, 2017. We're coming up on that, what is that, 3-year delta or something like that. We're struggling, we're testing things out. So on this app, where's my cursor here? I was basically saying, hey, why did everyone consider, let's see, which one is it? I'm missing it. Am I missing it? Oh, here we go. This one right here. This looks familiar, I'm sure, to some of us, right? Well, let's see. This post, this is considered, I guess, by everybody to be like the first post. Oh, you're so sweet. The first post, right? It says something about the HRC extradition already in motion, effective yesterday, blah, blah, blah. That's considered post number 1, right? But it is a reply to a reply, right, to an original post. So if anything, like, this seems like it's post number 1 to me, because this is like the start of it. And if you end up searching for this device ID, and the device ID is generated based on, it's unique, we'll say, to the user, generated from your IP address and some other stuff. So what we'll do is we'll look for all of the posts by that device ID, and you can see that there is 14 of them that they dropped, and every single one of these posts has a picture with it. So I'll just show you all 14 of them real quick. Again, picture, 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 and I'll scroll down a little bit. Picture, obviously, right there. 9 of 14. 10 of 14, again, picture. 11 of 14, picture. 12 of 14, picture. 13, picture. 14th one, picture. So this screen name, or whatever you want to call it, posted these 14 pictures in here. So let's go back, and I had downloaded the first one, and I'll kind of show you the rest of it, but we're just going to grab them. Come on now. I already downloaded this one, obviously. This is the next one, so let's go grab it. And one of the funny things about the pictures is their size. If you look at the size of it, it's 1909 by 1473. And this one is, what is it? 2048 by 1287. it's weird that they're not like standard screenshots, I guess. Grab this one. I'm just gonna grab a few to kind of at least give you the idea and show you kind of what's going on with them, or what I presume to be going on with them. More Russia. I'll download this one. So now let's go back to the Stego app. We'll do the deep scan, and we'll grab one of these files. So this is the first one, and when we scan it, bada bing, bada boom. Oh my. Found indications of pixel knot. So the rest of it isn't as important to me, but pixel knot, right? So let's go scan again. And let's scan this second one. What happened there? Must have hit something funny. I'm not used to streaming, obviously, so I don't know what I'm doing here. So, what am I doing? Oh no. What am I doing here? Why did it not let me do my... Look, I don't know what's happening here. I can't see the chat anymore. I had it before, but it's gone now, so sorry if I don't see what you're saying to me. Let's get it back. Get it back. Coming back. We're back. Are we back? We're back. Alright, sweet. So, okay. So this second screenshot. Loaded it in here, right? We'll do this one. We'll scan it. Found indications of pixel knot. So do the same thing again. Let's go scan. Grab up third one. Scan it. Found indications of pixel knot. So obviously, wasn't there something said about, you know, pixel knot, the stuff that's exchanged on Poll, on 4chan, which is, this is the archive, obviously, of 4chan Poll thread from the 28th. This one also popped for F5. F5 is the algorithm, the Stego algorithm that pixel knot is based off of. So obviously, if it finds this, it's probably also going to find, you know, one of the others, or it may. There's a decent chance. No guarantee, but you can kind of use the same technique for looking for F5 to obviously be looking for pixel knot. In my limited experience, we'll say. But then let's just scan this one. Pixel knot again. So I was trying to say this like a little while ago, but no one seems to care. No one seems to notice. I think that the person who was posting those images originally, you know, here's this one. Let's keep going and grabbing the rest of them. Some potential Podesta images. Can I say that? Can I say that word? Is that going to get me kicked off of here? Alright, where are we here? Where is my mouse? Bam. Alright, so we saved that one. Let's go grab the next one. Okay, let's grab that one. Getting hungry, I gotta leave soon. Grab this one. We will also grab this one too. And this one here as well. Oh, man. What else? So let's go back and scan some of these also. I don't remember what order they're in, so we're just going to do the ones that we haven't done yet. Internal server error. That's not a good sign. Let's see if it's just that picture. I know there was one picture that errored out my my stuff, so it could have been that one. I don't remember if it was or not. So let's try another one of these. Let's try this. The other problem is I found out the other week that it's obviously not happening now again, but my server got filled up. I looked, and apparently I had like 20-something thousand people use my my Stego app last month. Like 20,000 unique visitors apparently, which I was kind of blown away by that. All right, obviously Pixel not again. You guys can do all this same stuff yourselves. I'm just kind of giving you the, whatever you want to call it, the roadmap. Super simple, literally point and click, and you can do it. Let's fix that screen a little. Found indications of pixel knot. So again, like, it just kind of goes off the charts with stuff from those files. Let's go back to scan. That's right. This one I know errors my server out. It's like the 7th one I think I grabbed. Because I remember from the first time that I did this one, I had posted this as well on Twitter a while back when I kind of figured it out. Pixel not. You're probably getting the idea, at least. I probably don't have to do all of the images, I would assume. I can't remember if I did this one or not. For you to at least get the idea that, yeah, all 14 of them show indications of having pixel knot. So let's go back now and find the very first thread. So what's this like now when you look at this stuff? Let's see. When we look at the stuff here, the way that he's talking even sounds very familiar, you know. If you look, it's questions that don't have question marks. It's like statements that are questions. Why are all the Fox anchors smiling? CNN, MSNBC, NBC are freaking out like election night. And then, uh-oh. 2, 3. October 24th, 2017. From the Washington Post or whatever, I guess. Mueller now investigating Democratic lobbyist Tony Podesta. Washington. Tony Podesta and the Podesta Group are now the subjects of a federal investigation being led by Special Counsel Robert Mueller. 3 sources with knowledge of the matter told NBC News. The probe of Podesta and his Democratic-leaning lobbyist firm grew out of Mueller's inquiry into the finances of former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort, according to the sources. As Special Counsel Mueller has been tasked with investigating the collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. Manafort had organized a public relations campaign for a nonprofit called the European Center for a Modern Ukraine. Podesta's company was one of many firms that worked on the campaign, which promoted Ukraine's image in the West. The sources said the investigation into Podesta and his campaign began as more of a fact-finding mission about the ECMU and Manafort's role in the campaign, but now morphed into a criminal inquiry into whether the firm violated the Foreign Agents Registration Act, known as FARA. We get down here, more Russia. And some of the timestamps are pretty funny too. 10, 33, 11. This one wasn't. But then also some of the numbers for like the screenshot. Like if you know the way that the screenshots work, it's supposed to be that this here is the date that it was taken, 2017 10/27. So this is actually yesterday because it's posted on the 28th. So, you know, these things had been, you know, grabbed or whatever you want to say beforehand. Sorry, I haven't been able to look at the chat much. Pixelnot, as far as Pixelnot's a program that you can use to embed data into an image. Now, Pixelnot specifically, the problem with Pixelnot, or problem, I shouldn't say problem. Pixelnot looks like it's really only, since it's a mobile app, it only hides text messages. It doesn't actually hide like a full file. But you can use F5, the algorithm F5, to hide anything you want, whether it's text or a file or something else. So Pixelnot, though, it's hiding text-based messages. So one of the interesting things that you can figure out with that is that the messages can only be so long, so they can't be anything super super in depth. They have to be things that are short but would contain a mountain of data, or would contain a whole lot of stuff. Simple things like a link. You know, if you get an onion link is a Tor address, a dark web address. So maybe it's an onion link that takes the person to a forum where you can buy and sell XYZ. Or maybe it's a Pixelnot embedded message with a phone number, you know, a 10-digit number that they can text or call, and it's a burner number, and they have to exchange burner numbers, and this is an easy way to do it. Maybe it's as simple as it's a Twitter handle that has locked tweets, so that you have to follow it and it has to follow you to be able to communicate with it. So, you know, all these different things that could be used for Pixelnot to embed text into an image and pass that. Now, there are other programs, again, that you can use to embed bigger files, more data into an image or a series of images, but Pixelnot is not one of those. Pixelnot, and it was specifically suggested because I think it's being used to send things like rendezvous times, meeting times, again, burner numbers or contact information, temporary things like that, where people can then get together in a way where they can pass information between themselves, you know, physically or what have you, or at least, you know, set up their rendezvous. Yeah. Let's see. I'm saying that the recent video of Trump in the hospital was actually done from a ship. I haven't looked at that as far as the ship stuff and the Trump thing. Camera isn't fixed. I would be wary of some of those things sometimes. About like, you know, hey, it's not this, or hey, it's that. I'll end up doing a live stream probably like, I don't know, tonight, tomorrow, something, one of these days soon, where I'll go through and I'll show you the Epstein picture that was posted on Twitter, and I'll go through and I'll like debunk it. I'll show you why, yeah, it's obviously fake, and what, you know, the things to look out for the next one. One of the things in particular was if you like looked at his shoulders in the picture, they were super smooth, like way too smooth. It almost looked like Sims. Like if you've ever played the game The Sims and how like the characters are very like rounded, kind of like that. Anyway, that was one way to know. I think if I remember correctly, the metadata, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember running something with metadata, and obviously when you use Photoshop on something, Photoshop inserts itself into the metadata to say, hey, use Photoshop, bro, Photoshop, hey, Photoshop here. And unless you peel that out with another program where you're specific about not having the metadata in there, then Photoshop's kind of, you know, saying like, hey, here I am. And like I said, I remember looking at a picture recently, I could have sworn it was that one, but it specifically had Photoshop in the metadata, which told me clearly not, you know, this is not security footage. Bada bing, bada boom. That's kind of it, more or less, for now. That's all I wanted to really do. I gotta run a few errands, do a little work, but like I said, I might be back later tonight. Easy way that you guys can scan some of these things yourself. You can do some of the Stego stuff yourself. In fact, let me give you one more cool thing that you can do. You don't even necessarily need to do all the steganography stuff yourself. I had teamed up with TechMaster Q a while back on his aggregator, and if you go up to the display options here, and you look down at show steganography data, you can click this, and let's reorder the drops. It will show you some info under each image to tell you if there's anything in them, or if it looks like there might be something in them. Now, it's not going to tell you what's in them if there is something in them, but it will give you an idea that this might be a picture to try to crack. And I know there was one recently that came up. I haven't looked at any of these yet, so some of you guys maybe should go through and do that part if you're interested in it. Word of advice, Pixel not only works for JPEG images, so some of them that say not applicable, it's because they're a PNG. Where is it? A lot of drops lately, I guess. Ah, this one here. So this image, I talked about this one a while ago. If you look, pixel not present. Looks like it might be in there. I don't remember if, well, let's just grab the link if we can. Oh, be allowed. You're not gonna let me go. Right, whatever. If I remember correctly, there was an issue with the way his aggregator was pulling images at one point, but I think he had fixed it, if I recall correct. I think he did. So let's just see. We're just gonna name this PK. Yeah. Go back. So when, a while back, like I said, his aggregator had a little issue that I brought up to him where it was pulling the images funny, and it was like pulling them multiple times, and it was saving like multiple copies of one inside itself. So I was getting really weird results, but I'm pretty sure he fixed it, yeah. And again, like I said, found indications of pixel not. Seems to show F5 even, so something worth looking into. Again, I even wrote a little password cracker that we could all, get 1,000 people to run 1,000 different passwords, and then that way we've cracked, a million passwords pretty quick. It would definitely be something easy to do. It's point and click. You literally just type a few lines in, you can copy and paste it, and the thing will run in the background. I made it as simple as possible. So, yeah, simple. Anyway, here's some links for you guys before you go. If you want to do some steganography yourself, lukeslytalker.pythonanywhere.com. I think I spelled that right. If you want to find me on Twitter, thank you for dropping my stuff in the chat for the few mods that I've made. I appreciate it. Twitter handle is that. You can find me on Gab or Parler at Luke Sly Talker. What else? You already found me on YouTube, obviously, so you're here for that. I got a Patreon as well. It's not necessarily set up and ready, so I'm not gonna encourage anyone to get there and join it already, because I'm gonna start putting more content up, and then I'll start pushing for it, obviously. I will link that, but again, I would tell you right now, it's not worth signing up for because there's not much content on it. So but yeah, that's basically it. The Patreon eventually, what it's gonna have is all the MacGyver skills or what have you that I've kind of I guess developed over my life or whatever since I was 9 or 10 years old. And then you'll get to kind of hear the whole backstory, the life story and stuff if you're on there. I got to change the levels a little bit because I think I put like just a general support level, but you actually are going to get something for that. So if you're signing up for the lowest tier, there's still something involved there. But yeah, that's about it. Enjoy. Have a good afternoon. Maybe I'll see you later tonight. If I don't, tomorrow at 7 Eastern, I'll be on the Keystone channel to do a little interview. Talk about some of this stuff, maybe. Talk about some other interesting stuff. In fact, I'll give you another teaser real quick of... I called into Craig Mason's channel on Saturday, and I mentioned this. So one of the things that I was doing was digging in the blockchain a little bit, and this is a tool that I put together based off of a person named Gene, their script, and this script was used to like check a transaction hash to see if there was data embedded into the blockchain transaction. So what you do, find some transaction hashes from blockchain transactions. These ones I've listed here are actually known to contain something. Paste it in, display the output data, submit it, and then it's just going to kick you back what might be in there. And then this is the WikiLeaks Cablegate backup, and it tells you how you can actually download the entire WikiLeaks Cablegate. It says download the following transactions with the Satoshi Nakamoto's download tool, which can be found in transaction. So now it's like not a wild goose chase, but like a little trip or whatever. You use this, it's a Python script, and it shows you how to take multiple transaction hashes, which right here, I think there's like 100 something of them. Right? Bada bing, bada boom. All of those, again, if I have my thing right on there, are transaction hashes for Bitcoin transactions that contain a piece of the WikiLeaks Cablegate backup from 2010. Now, this was like done as a proof of concept, obviously, or not a proof of concept. This was done by WikiLeaks to like, you know, show you and let you know that, hey, we've put our stuff in here, the rest of it's in here too. Julian Assange even talked about in 2014, there's an interview with him that was done in Nantucket. It's like a virtual interview. You can get on YouTube and find it. If you type Julian Assange, Bitcoin, Nantucket, you'll see it. But in there, he specifically says that they started stuffing their encryption keys and files into Bitcoin. This right here is an example of it. So let's go look at a different hash, because there was a bunch of researchers who went around and actually proved all this. You know, this is where we're getting these hashes from, back in October of 2016. So let's check this one. I think this one's one of the encryption keys, if I remember correctly. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm not like a Bitcoin guru or anything by any means. I just kind of can, like, you know, make my way around with it. So this is the Bitcoin, or the script. Obviously, I screwed up a little bit in my truncation of bytes, but whatever. But this is a Python script to use to extract all the files and stuff. So let's pull this. Display the output. And then what's it say it found? It says it thinks that there is some secret stuff in here, some encryption stuff, as well as a 7-zip compressed archive. So, again, WikiLeaks stuff. So here was the theory on it. Or at least, whatever, my little, call it tinfoil hat theory. When we're told, you have more than you know, or you have it all, maybe back in 2017 when Bitcoin spiked, back in like October, November, December 2017, finally spiked up all the way and then started dropping after like January, February. Maybe that's because someone was artificially pumping up Bitcoin by embedding data into transactions. When you embed data in a transaction, when you want to store a file, it costs you money. You have to pay a miner fee. You have to pay the miners basically for the extra time that it's going to take. So the bigger the fee, the more data you've probably stored. And the more times you've done this, that would drive the price of Bitcoin up. Once you stop doing this, cool, yeah, we'll do. Once you stop doing this, then the price is obviously going to go back down to more like what the market demands. So with that said, when the people, we'll call it a team, maybe stuffed a bunch of data into the blockchain, like, oh, maybe they needed to back up like a really important laptop, for instance. Maybe some people had evidence on a laptop that they didn't want to be destroyed if it was given to the authorities, and the authorities might be corrupt. So maybe some good people made a copy of that data on that laptop and then stored a copy of that data in the blockchain. The way to find it, you need to know the transaction hashes. Well, what have we been seeing for some of the image names? I'm gonna like circle this way back around. What have we seen for some of the image names for some of these pictures? This right here, this long string, this is what's known as a SHA hash. I think if this is the right length of characters, this might not be a SHA, this might be an MD5. But the idea is that on the board, when you look at the image names, Techmaster Q is nice enough to name the images as the SHA sum. So that way you know if it's a duplicate image or not, because there's been some flag pictures that look like they're the same picture, but they'll have a different SHA sum. So they're not the same actually, they're different files. This is generated based on the contents of the file. So if you stag an image, then this SHA sum will change. So based on that, some of the file names looked like SHA sums, and sometimes they are, but sometimes they're mismatched, and it's the length of a SHA sum or a hex, like a hex number or whatever, but it doesn't actually match what the file's value would be. So to me, those were indicators of maybe these are interesting things to look into and to try to paste in as transaction hashes to see if they contain data or pieces of data that could be part of the laptop or something else that we all might be looking for. Again, that's pretty much it. Hopefully I've whet your appetite to be willing to subscribe to my channel if you're not already, or to again be willing to subscribe to my Patreon once I start putting some stuff up there. Again, I will I'll make sure I have content on there. I'll still release some stuff on YouTube. I'll obviously post stuff on Twitter, but more or less anything like super juicy I'll probably put on there first. I'm sorry, I know, whatever, but I spent a couple years doing this. No one took any notice, really. Very few people. All my stuff's been up for well over a year, and no one really cared back then, so screw it. I'm gonna monetize it now, and if you care about it now, well, try to find it in the Wayback Machine if you can. Otherwise, pay the couple bucks a month and get full access, and then all the extra bells, perks, and whistles that'll come with it too. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you learned something, of course. So again, last thing would be Patreon will be patreon.com/Luke-Slytalker, and obviously, my Twitter @_Luke_Slytalker, and then on Gab and Parler, it's just @LukeSlytalker. Thanks for watching. Where is my mouse? I need a better mouse and a better camera, obviously, too. All those things would be great, and that's actually what the Patreon stuff will eventually pay for, is gear, so I'm not using a